on here. So in this lesson I'm going to show you a great exercise to work on going between arpeggios using sweep picking and alternate picking. This exercise will also show you why it's so important to work on alternate picking exercises in two ways, starting with a downstroke and starting with an upstroke. We're going to be using this Yngwie 6-note sequence, whereas he wouldn't use it in a pentatonic fashion as we're going to do. He would do more like that thing. But that 6-note sequence, you have to do this one if you're going to play the arpeggio before it and not get two downstrokes in a row, which is very inefficient. You need to play this one with starting with an upstroke. And that's way trickier for most people because, well, frankly, because they've usually been practicing it only one way. So I did this myself as well until I realized, like, oh, that's a very bad idea, because you paint yourself into this technique corner where it's going to be really annoying to get out of it, because you're going to be so good at doing it one way that even trying it the other way is going to feel so far off. But if you start incorporating this in your alternate picking practice right now, in a few months you will feel that everything has evened out to a much larger degree, and that's way better for your overall technique. So this exercise is based on this C minor arpeggio, and we're going to play that combining it with this 6-note pattern that I showed you earlier. And you have the tabs available on my Patreon as usual, but I think it's not that difficult. You basically have this 5-string arpeggio, and I'm gonna pick that down, hammer, down, 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 and then we start the alternate picking part of it on this upstroke. So, and that's where this problem comes in, right? Because if you want the alternate pick from here, you have to start with an upstroke. Otherwise you have to go, try to do two downstrokes, and like I said, that's super inefficient and not very practical. So you have this C minor arpeggio, and then we go into this C minor 3-note per string pentatonic shape. And basically the pattern is going to be, if we number the notes from left to right, 1, 2, 3, we have 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Then we repeat that one set of 3 notes closer to the tuning peg. So basically the same sequence, just a different set of notes. And then we go back to the sweep again. So that's our practice loop here. So we're gonna just happen to start here. So and as far as practicing this, I would highly suggest you move it around the neck. But don't go too far down, because the further down you get, the stretcher it's going to get, and these 3-note per string pentatonic shapes can be quite taxing on your left hand. So you have to look out for that yourself, because I can't know how you feel when you practice this stuff. But just general advice here, never practice any type of pain or sort of weird feeling in either hand. But that's a very important thing to be mindful of. A good way to practice it though is to use a timer, but maybe put it on a longer time frame than you usually would. Instead of 5 minutes, maybe try 10 minutes and just sit there very slowly. And also I would practice it with this pickup actually. So and if you need to practice it do that, because that's the only way to get this up to any sort of speed where it's clean. You need to practice at a pace where every note is perfect. So don't kid yourself here and try to go for speed right now, because if you haven't done this before, you're not going to be able to do it. So there's no point trying to just going for it, because you're just going to build bad habits. So make sure you focus on accuracy, and to sort of relieve the boredom of doing this, if you chuck a timer on, I like to use this kind of timer, so like that, And then basically what you want to do is keep repeating it as the time passes, but you can apply different practice techniques to it. So you don't have to just repeat it over and over again the same way. One good thing with this one, for example, is it's based on groups of 6 the whole time. So you can accent each note in each group of 6. So you can put an accent on the first note, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And that obviously will take more focus, and it will force you to slow down. So that's, win-win in this case. And another thing you can try is to do it in different subdivisions. So you don't have to do the same subdivision the whole time. So if you use this with a metronome, for example, let's say you start this with 8-note triplets and you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then try it with 16th notes after you've done a certain number of reps of the triplets. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it also, the whole phrase actually works with 16th notes and 16th note triplets and regular triplets and 8th notes. So there's all kinds of different variations you can do here. So doing these different things will really help you to keep your focus up and also make the time pass quicker. So that's, a very important thing as well. And another thing that I've noticed when you practice for, maybe an hour or 90 minutes or whatever, it always feels like time is so slow in the first maybe 15 minutes, and then you start getting into it. And this is actually supported by science when it comes to the science of flow, if you've heard about the flow state. And it generally takes us between 15 to 30 minutes, depending on what you're doing and how much you've done it before and all that kind of stuff, where you kind of have to push through this inertia, where it feels kind of crappy to do it and you don't want to do it. And you can see this in several different things, but it's so helpful because, you've probably seen the rower here behind me. And when I sit down to row, if I'm going to row for an hour, it's super boring, but, I don't do it because it's fun, but I do it because of the health benefits. But the first, 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, it can feel like that timer is barely moving. But then once you get into it, it's all right. So the remainder of the time tend to pass very quickly depending on the day and sometimes a bit slower. But in general, once you get through that initial obstacle of actually, okay, I'm going to relax, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do this, then it's usually fine. So if you found that it's hard to sit down and keep focused and all that stuff, don't give up. Just give yourself all right, I'm going to do this for at least 15 to 20 minutes, and then if it still sucks, all right, I can move on to something else. More often than not, you're going to find that once you get to that 15-20 minute mark, you're going to be into it. And this is a great way to get started on stuff that you don't want to do as well. So you can apply this to anything, doing your taxes, homework if you're in school, or whatever. But it's a thing that's helped me a lot because that initial 5 minutes feels like forever sometimes. So don't give up after 5 minutes, just push through it and then see what happens when you've done it for 15-20, and I think you'll find that it's not that bad. Back in the day, I used to have real issues with fast alternate picking when it came to 2 notes per string. I was fine with 3 notes per string, but the 2 note per string thing was a bit harder to crack. So if you struggle with fast alternate picking as well and you don't know what to practice or for how long, I created the perfect solution for you in the form of the Pentatonic Picking Power Book. So in this book, you'll find a daily workout that will not only help your pentatonic picking, but will also upgrade your overall alternate picking technique. So it contains basically the same exercises I use myself to develop my picking abilities, as well as numerous students over the years that I've given the same exercise to with great results. So I know these exercises work as long as you put in the work. So it's not a quick solution or quick fix. will still take a lot of work, but at least you have a very easy to follow routine. So if you're up for a big ultimate picking upgrade in 2024, I cannot think of a better start.